Cameron with Seaboom Reviews here, and I'm here to talk about the season finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Just to let you know, I'm spoiling this. This was a great end to the season, and even though it was only 6 episodes, it definitely made the most of it. So if you don't want to know what happens, by all means, go watch the other episodes, then come on back and we can have us a little chat. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. It means a whole lot to me. If you are a fan of this sort of thing and you want to watch more comic book, movie, or television reviews, hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to try to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. And if you don't want to miss as soon as I put anything out, hit that notification bell. You'll know as soon as I release anything. Falcon and the Winter Soldier has not been I love this show for me. There have been some moments where I was just like, I don't know how I feel about that. Things that kind of made me feel a little uneasy. Last episode was not one of those episodes. This episode was not one of those episodes. This brought everything that you were wanting to happen to the surface. So let's get started at the very beginning. The GRC are about to sign the Patch Act, which is going to have anybody that migrated from one general region or another back into where they came from. Essentially, it's undoing all of the migration and things that happened during the Thanos snap/blip. And they're about to sign this in, but Carly and her Flag Smashers don't want that to happen because they have been making the most of a bad situation for the last 5 years. And then all of a sudden everybody comes back and now they're going to be displaced, and they don't want that to happen. And Falcon has the crew coming up. Bucky's there. Sharon Carter's there. So they're all pitching in to help. Now, before we continue, before we even get going, we got to talk about this new, I want to say Falcon suit, but in all honesty, no. We got to talk about this new Captain America suit. This suit looks amazing. Now, trust me, I understand. A Captain America suit is not going to be the most thrilling. It's not going to look the best, but man, Anthony made this suit look good, y'all. It was fantastic. It was striking. It was iconic. Every single time that you watch him move in this suit looked great. And so having, I'm done talking about that. Now let's talk about the rest of the story. So he comes up in the new Captain America suit equipped with the wings, and he is trying to stop everybody. Everybody's being evacuated, and that's part of Carly's plan. And so Sam is trying to keep people inside the building, but here comes Batroc. Now, Batroc's main thing is he wants to kill Falcon. So he and Sam have a fight, and Batroc is a much better skilled hand-to-hand fighter than Sam. And so even though Sam has the shield and he has the jetpack and the wings, when it comes down to close quarters hand-to-hand, Batroc actually has an upper hand. Eventually, after a little bit of fighting, he goes out of a window because he's like, I got more important things to do than dance with you, dude. So he heads out the window, and there are 3 transports with all of these world leaders. There's one that goes upstairs to a helicopter, and then there are 2 that go downstairs to a police vans because they're trying to get out because the terrorists are here to do who knows what. Now, Carly has some super extremist vibes going on. She says, we plan for the best and prepare. Or prepare for the worst. So they said, worst case scenario, we just kill all the hostages. These are the world leaders. And all of the other Flag Masters are like, I don't know if I like this or not. And she's like, one world. And they're like, and she's like, one world. She acted like a black preacher. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, saints. One world. And they were like, one people. Like they're about to get called out during Sunday service. So Sam goes after the helicopter, and he has Red Wings back, by the way. Wakanda's hooking a brother up, okay? He got all of the new toys plus a few toys he didn't have before. So he's going after the helicopter. He has Red Wing scan everybody in the helicopter to see if any of the senators or world leaders have had flight training. They find one that has flight training, and Sam finds a way to get the pilot, the Flag Smasher pilot who was flying the helicopter, out of the way so that she can get in the seat and save everybody. So that was one transport. Now that sequence, I really streamlined it. You definitely should watch it because there's some bobbing and weaving with the helicopter, some definite air dog stuff. There's a small part that involves an NYPD helicopter, and Sam has to stop chasing the Flag Smashers to go save the police officers. And that, everything was well done. I can't describe it properly. That's something that you have to watch if you haven't before. But anyway, the helicopter saved. Then there were two transport vehicles, and Bucky, totally pulled a GTA, got a bike, caught up to the vans, and Carly, while Bucky's fighting one of the guys, Carly's like, we got to give a distraction, so let's give him somebody to save. So they set one of the vans on fire with these world leaders in it, and so Bucky's like, I gotta go save these guys. So he is trying to pry the doors off, and in the meantime, here comes John Walker. Now, I gotta be honest, this is the first time that I looked at Johnny Walker and didn't want to just be like punch him in his smug face. Like, this was good. This was redemption. He knows he messed up. He knows that there were things that he got sidetracked, and he's trying to make amends for Lamar. Now, in a mid-credit scene, you saw him making this mock shield, I'm guessing out of steel and stuff. Well, he is using this shield against Super Soul. It sounds like a Oscar the Grouch trash can lid, y'all. It sounds like he picked this shield up from the Dollar Tree, the dollar store, Family Dollar. That's what it sounds like, because it sounds like trash. But he's going toe to toe with multiple super soldiers. He's not doing that great, but he's still not backing down. And he's doing it for Lamar. He's doing it for himself. And he's doing it for the right cause, because he's not doing it, in this case, out of hate. Because he understands, he definitely dropped the ball, but he's willing to work with Sam and Bucky to make things better. So they were able to free one van, and then the other van, Carly was like, well, fine, I'll just kill these fools. And she drives the van over an embankment, so it's about to fall. And Sam and Sharon Carter and Johnny Walker, they can't stop this van from falling. But who can? Captain America. Sam Wilson gets up under the van right before it starts to plummet. And not only does he use the new suit to jettison it back up, but he's got pieces that detach off, and now they're helping jettison it up, and he saves that entire thing. And this is in front of everybody. This is in the streets of New York. And everybody's cheering. It's like, oh, they're saying, oh, that's Black Falcon. And one of the other dudes is like, nah, that ain't Black Falcon. That's Black Captain America. And so all of the senators and all the world leaders are saved. And this right here, this is when it really gets good. Sam is like, look at you guys. You have all the power to make things right. But instead of making things better, you want to make things the way they used to be. You want to call all these people terrorists and refugees and thugs, and you haven't asked yourself, why are they doing this? Carly was able to lead, all of these people behind her because there was an idea that they believed in, and you haven't asked yourself why. You have all this power to make all these great changes, and you aren't looking ahead. Are you making these changes for you? Or are you making these changes for the betterment of them. And it was a super powerful moment. I really like that. Sorry, I glossed over the fact that Carly's dead. Yes. So there's a reason why I want to talk about Captain America first. But during one of the scenes where Carly's trying to get away after she had rammed this van over the embankment, she's trying to make a getaway, and she runs into Sharon Carter. And Sharon Carter is the power broker. And a lot of us kind of saw this coming from episode 5. And then Batroc was like, oh, you are the power broker? Now, I will kill this fool and you will pay me 4 times. That's right, 4 times what you said you were going to do, or I'll tell the whole world who you are. And she's like, I don't do blackmail. Pop, pop. She kills Batroc. Like, Batroc's done. Boom. If you like Batroc, I'm sorry, but he did. But Carly shoots Sharon Carter. And this is when Falcon shows up, and he's trying to save Sharon, but all he sees is Carly with a gun and Sharon Carter shot. So he tries to intervene. Now, this is super powerful. He does not try to fight Carly. Carly is fighting him, and he's just blocking, deflecting, dodging. And he's like, I don't want to fight you. Because here's the thing. You're not wrong. You're just wrong in how you're making this come about. Like, if you would just stop and go this at a different angle, they would listen to you. But it comes down to a point where the shield gets knocked away, and Carly's got Sam with the gun, and looks like she's about to shoot him. And Sharon Carter, because she ain't dead, she kills Carly. She she's an agent. That's what agents do. They pow pow, So Carly dies that way. I kind of wish that it hadn't gone down that way, because let's be honest, Sam got this suit from the Wakandans, so we're pretty sure there was some level of vibranium in there, right? So if she would have shot at Captain America, would it really have hurt him? I feel like there was a little vibranium weave up in that suit. I don't think Sam had anything to worry about. But anyway, after all of this, after the fight, after the ideology, this is where we get a little bit of wrap up for Sam and for Bucky. I want to talk about Bucky first because I want to end with Sam. So Bucky takes Sam's advice and he has to do the hard work. So he goes to Yuri. Now, Yuri was in the very first episode where they kind of talked with each other because, Bucky's 106 years old, so he doesn't really have anybody else to kind of like hang out with. And he was responsible for Yuri's son's death. He killed Yuri while he was still the Winter Soldier under Hydra's mind control. And Yuri had no idea what happened to his son. So what Sam told him and said, you got to do what's right for the other person. You're trying to do things that make you feel good. You need to do something that makes them feel good. So he finally told Yuri about how, he knows what happened to his son, and it was because of something that he did. And yeah, this breaks up their friendship for sure. But the next Wednesday, Bucky walks by the shop that they used to have lunch, and he sees Yuri, and Yuri's, having a little shot of sake, talking with the waitress, and he's at peace. Like, there's not that pain on his face where he's not asking questions about what happened to my son. He knows what happened to his son. He's, of course he's not happy that his son died, but at least he has closure. At least he knows. And even if that hurts Bucky on the end, it helped somebody else. And so Yuri was actually the last person on the list. So he crosses the list off and puts a little notepad in a bag and hands it to his therapist. He's like, thanks, Doc. I crossed all the names off the list. I was halfway expecting it to say, by the way, you were a terrible therapist, Bucky. I wish that would have happened. But then we have the last thing that I kind of want to talk about, and that is with Sam. Sam goes back to Isaiah's house. And Isaiah, he's happy. He's like, you're not a Malcolm, you're not a Martin, you're not a Mandela, but you good. It's like you stood up in front of the world, you told them folks who you were. And it's not something I would have done, but You did it. And Sam was like, I want y'all to get cleaned up. And he's talking to Isaiah, and he's talking to Eli, who is Sam's grandson. He's like, I got something to show y'all. And they go to the Captain America exhibit, where, you know, it has all the Steve Rogers memorabilia and the Howling Commandos and all that stuff. And then in this separate room, there's a statue, a 1-to-1 statue of Isaiah Bradley, the first Captain America. Or, yeah, it was the first Captain America, I'm pretty sure. Or when they were trying to recreate it. He was the Captain America when Steve wasn't Captain America. And it talks about Isaiah's contribution to the war efforts and how he also was a super soldier. And Isaiah was like, you done good, son. And, you know, he shakes his hand, but then hugs him. And let me tell you something. There was something that Sam said before they went to the exhibit. He said to Isaiah, and when he says we, he's talking about black people. He said, we built this country. We bled for this country. And I'm not going to let somebody else tell me that we can't fight for this country. And I was like, ooh, oh my gosh, that was powerful stuff. And so I don't understand how everybody else would receive this episode, but it spoke to black me. Okay, as a comic book fan, I enjoyed it. But as a black person, not an African American, as a black person, it spoke to me. And so even if I wasn't in love with everything about this show, like I wasn't in love with why Carly would grab the super soldier serums when she did in episode 4, even if I wasn't in love with why they would take Zemo to the raft instead of to Wakanda in episode 5, there were a lot of great things to this episode. And then of course it ends, and it looks like there's a happy ending for a lot of things. You know, it looks like the boat's saved, so they're having a cookout. And I mean, you know, it's a cookout, and Bucky's invited to the cookout, so that's cool. As far as the other super soldiers, they get killed, and like they get put into a van, and the cop is like, one world, one people. And so I'm like, oh, they about to get away. And then the van blows up, like boom, they're all dead. And it turns to this old guy with the detonator. And I was like, who is this now? It was freaking Zemo's butler. Zemo finished that mission. Like, he's like, I'm not going to kill you, Bucky, but them other scrubs, they on my list. And so, boom, he got him. Like, Zemo gets the last laugh there. And then Dave Fontaine, Val, she's like, oh, looks like Zemo got the last laugh. And we are introduced to U.S. Agent. I will eat crow, because I was like, there's no way that he's going to associate himself with the United States. That's why I thought that he was going to be called Nomad. But he is now a U.S. agent, and he has completed his backstory, so to speak. So that is a lot of what happened in this episode. And I will tell you, this has some things for you. If you're a comic book fan, especially if you're a Captain America fan, this has a lot of things for you. If you are black, if you are in America, this has some moments that speaks to you. This has some deep conversations. The situation at the bank in episode 1, Isaiah, when he talks about his backstory in episode 2, and then when he has that conversation with Sam in episode 5, all the talks that Sam gives in episode 6, like, there is some deep conversations that the people that made this series had. Like, they brought in people who knew what it felt like, and everybody in this series does a fantastic job with their acting. That doesn't mean that I was in love with Carly. I think that Carly was the weakest thing, and not necessarily her or the actress that played her, but I just wasn't in love with, like, her presence. Like, the things that she does do have a terroristic feel to them, but I don't believe that she was the proper vehicle for it. she was, she was the one that they chose, and it wasn't terrible, but I think that was the weakest link of everything else. But I mean, Batroc, Sharon Carter, Bucky, Isaiah, Sam, they all did a fantastic job. If you are an MCU fan, this is must watch territory, because at the very end they changed the name from what it was. It is no longer the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Get this out of here. It's no longer Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And I mean, I'm just that's what I'm talking about. So if you are an MCU fan, you've probably already watched this, but if you haven't, absolutely watch this, especially if you know the struggle. So that's my review of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel and share this with your friends. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. You guys can make it happen. As always, this is Cameron with Z-Beam Reviews. We'll see you next time.